Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The honorable judges and audiences, thank you for being here today. I'm Annisa Rizki Ramadhan from SMKS TULUNGAGUNG. Today, allow me to deliver a speech on the theme of social culture, focusing on two important points: how culture shapes language and how language preserves culture. Humans beings are social creatures who cannot live in isolation. In our daily lives, we need a tool of communication that we call language. Yet, language does not stand alone. It is born, nurtured, and developed by the culture that surrounds it. Let us reflect for a moment. Why does every region have its own language or dialect? In Indonesia, we have hundreds of local languages, from Javanese, Sundanese, Batak, Bugis to Papuan. These differences exist because culture in each region shapes the way people think, live, and eventually the way they speak. From this, we can see that culture is the mother of language. Language grows out of habits, values, and traditions of a society. Without cultures, language will be nothing more than empty word. It is culture that gives meaning and life to language. Ladies and gentlemen, the relationship does not stop there. If cultures give birth to language, then language in turn plays an essential role as a guardian of culture itself. Language becomes the vessel that stores knowledge, values, and ancestral heritage. Take proverbs as a simple example. In Indonesia, we know sayings such as air beriak tanda tak dalam. These expressions are not merely decorative words, but reflection of the wisdom and life philosophy of our people. Without language, how could such local wisdom be passed down from generation to generation? Even more importantly, language protects identity. When we speak our mother tongue or local languages, we are reforming our cultural identity. The honorable judges and audiences, unfortunately, we must admit that today many local languages are being abandoned. Young people tend to prefer foreign language or modern slang, while local languages are mostly spoken by the older generation. If this continues, it is not impossible that our local languages will disappear, and along with them, a significant part of our culture will vanish too. This is where our collective awareness is needed. We must see language not only as a tool for communication, but also a tool for cultural preservation. We can start with simple action, like speaking in our local language at home, teaching proverbs or rhyme to children, or supporting art and literature that use regional languages. Beyond that, we must also nurture Bahasa Indonesia as our national language. Bahasa Indonesia is a common home that unites hundreds of ethnic groups. Through this, we can understand one another despite our different cultural backgrounds. At the same time, we must never neglect the richness of local languages, because they are the foundations of our nation's diverse heritage. As a conclusion, allow me to emphasize this. Culture shapes language. It is cultures that give birth to words, expressions, and ways of communication. In return, language preserves culture. Through language, our knowledge, values, and identity are passed on across generations. Therefore, let us treat language not merely as a means of speaking, but as a bridge to protect our identity, embrace diversity, and preserve our heritage. By doing so, we are not only keeping language alive, but also ensuring that our culture survives throughout time. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.